2 boys, proud of everything you all have accomplished. Smiley face. Happy birthday, Tim, and happy Groundhog Day. Donation to Runner's Choice. And with that, it is time. With commentary by CammyCakes and Datto, it's a Deepstone Crypt raid in Destiny 2 presented by Tokeegee, Traderkirk, Scoobyfoo, Bystandertim, Munchakoopas, and Shockwve.
Hey, thanks, Prolix. Welcome, everyone, to Destiny 2 Deepstone Crypt. My name is Shockwve. Don't worry, there will be a game here shortly. I'm here simply to introduce the raid team and share a quick little story from Tuesday. But with me, again, I have myself, Traderkirk, Muncha, Tokeegee, Tim, and Scoobyfoo. We're going to be blowing through this raid as quick as possible, but I wanted to share a quick little story. There is a unique thing about running an MMO game. There was a patch on Tuesday, and it patched a skip that we used. So, just wanted to mention, there's a slight change. If you've seen us before, or seen this run before, there's a tiny change that we're doing because of a patch on Tuesday. Just wanted to point that out. It's a really kind of fun thing of running MMO games. You never know what's going to change. But without further ado, Datto and CammyCakes are going to take over commentary. You're going to see me disappear. I'll be back at the end. I'll see you all shortly. Datto and Cammy, it's all yours.
Thanks very much, Shock. Cammy, how we doing?
Pretty good. I'm excited to commentate this.
Yeah, you know, not like Last Wish. You know, Last Wish when we were here last time, a little bit longer of an experience, sort of more sort of magical kind of zone that we're in right now. You know, we're going to be going to a space station in space, which is pretty cool, and then we'll be coming back in an interesting way. And yeah, we're gonna be taking on Deepstone Crypt. Not as many bosses, not as much, I'd say, crazy movement. In fact, we have a 2 Warlock, 4 Titan setup as opposed to 6 Warlocks. Why? What happened to the Warlocks?
Yeah, like Shock was saying, in an MMO game, things change from month to month. And even back in Destiny 1, Titan was the fastest class, but in Destiny 2, Warlocks could abuse the sword to fly forward very fast. But since that got nerfed, we're back to a mix of Warlock and Titan. Warlock for speed, and Titan for boss damage using their super.
Yeah, so Warlocks, you know, they're still pretty fast, but we're gonna want that damage a little bit later on in the run for both fights number 2 and number 4. So we're just waiting for Shock to go live here so we can check out the screen for ourselves. But you're gonna notice, like, literally right as they actually start, that 3 people are just gonna leave, and that seems weird, but what's gonna be happening is they're gonna be sort of just reducing their chance of failure in this first part, because this is a vehicle section that's gonna be coming up, and they're gonna be doing a lot of, like, hopping across big gaps and stuff like that. So 3 people are gonna leave. The reason why it's 3 people is because you need at least 3 people in order to go to the next section. But yeah, it just kind of reduces the chance of failure. You know, more people sparrowing means more chances that you collide into each other, or you mess up and you have to wait for people to res up or teleport back or something like that. So they're just minimizing their sort of failure rates, essentially.
For my Destiny veterans at home, you might see a truth rocket and a mountaintop. Your eyes don't deceive you, those are used for the run. They're gonna truth rocket all of the enemies at the beginning just to clear them, and then they're going to leave and do their own thing. That way they can leave the 3 runners to complete this next section as fast as possible.
Yeah, the mountaintop is not here for damage. This is a weapon that's been quote-unquote retired from the game. Looks like we're about ready to go here, about 10 seconds or so. And yeah, they're gonna be launching all those truth rockets, clear all the ads out of the doorway. You need to kill all those ads in order for the door to open. Here we go.
And there the run starts.
Deepstone Crypt starting now with that button
Watch
press.
all the truth rockets fly in. The ads need to die in order to progress to the next section. That's a common theme in this run. Things die quickly, then you can progress.
This is a good tag with the Anarchy. Not as strong of an opening on some of the practice runs we've seen, but they're still killing everything pretty quickly.
He's not
here.
using the mountaintop to damage enemies because it's a retired weapon. And while it doesn't damage enemies, it'll damage yourself, and that'll come into play later.
It does very, very little damage nowadays. So why don't you bring people up to speed on Warlock speed? I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, let's talk about this section. So they're going to be in the cold, and they're going to build up this debuff in the bottom left called Frostbite. If they get too many stacks of Frostbite, bad things happen. So they're trying to avoid that by standing in these orange circles to warm themselves up and get rid of the Frostbite. But this is a speed run. They're going to be doing this really fast. They're going to Sparrow flick across these large chasms. The Sparrow's like the mount in Destiny, and it has this side-to-side dodge. So by angling the Sparrow sideways and dodging into your character, it knocks them back and they carry that momentum with the Warlock class.
Yeah, so they're combining just all of these different little movement techniques. You know, if you remember Last Wish, you might have remembered them crossing this giant gap in just like a big zoom animation. Bungie patched that. It doesn't exist anymore. So they're combining a bunch of these different effects all in one in order to cross these big gaps. Normally, this is sort of like a big maze that you got to do, and you got to hit all these specific zones and checkpoints. They're skipping all the ads. We don't need to kill the ads. We're skipping past as much of the stuff as we possibly can and hitting the doorway because you need everyone at this final doorway in order for it to actually open up. It looks like that was a pretty good run. I don't think anybody died on that one. That was really smooth. Great Sparrow section right there.
So we'll be seeing the other 3 teammates joining shortly because they're about to be at the first encounter.
Yeah, they were actually in another activity called the Nightfall, getting a bunch of ammo so that way they don't have to get ammo from this thing called the rally flag right at the start. It just saves like a little bit of time. It's just kind of like a convenience thing. All right, so we're going to be coming up on the first encounter. Yeah, if you want to take over.
Yeah, so what's about to happen in the first encounter, Shock's going to go out of bounds and get under the map to read some key information to his team during this first encounter. The way this raid works is you pick up these augments from enemies that allow you to do certain things. As Shock would describe it, the yellow augment allows you to be eyes, and the red augment allows you to be hands. Eyes reads what the hands need to do.
Yeah, Bungie, by the way, you missed that one. He's going to be getting out of bounds here, and this is going to be also a crucial part for part 2 and 3 of the speed run here. So, you know, normally you're supposed to trade these buffs back and forth across the room because the middle section's all closed off and the doors are closed. But when you can just kind of see through walls, well, you don't really need to do a whole lot of that.
Yellow augment on the floor. He's about to float with this Warlock and grab it under the floor, which allows him to see and tell the red augment what to shoot.
Yep, and once you shoot all 4 of the panels downstairs that you need to shoot, which can only be seen by the person with the scanner buff, that's going to activate sort of the damage phase where everyone upstairs needs to shoot the proper node that's being read out downstairs. You're going to see these sort of 6 little spark plug looking things light up, and that corresponds to what you need to shoot upstairs, and that's going to be the fight.
It's already almost done. They're doing big damage.
Yeah, it's super fast, but this fight usually is pretty fast, I'd say, for the average group anyway, but being able to cut out a lot of that changing back and forth just speeds it up a little bit. So now he's going to stay out of bounds until he drops down a section, just so we can spawn a little bit closer to the fight. This is the most technical the raid is going to get here. Yeah, blowing himself up so he can spawn back in bounds because you need everyone in the raid at the same place in order to actually trigger the animation of the boss to spawn it in so that you can actually start fight number 2.
By someone else. That was crazy.
A little too much speed on that one.
You gotta be careful in Destiny. Hit a pebble the wrong way and your ankle breaks.
There's going to be 3 different things happening here, all at the same time. 4 people are going to be fighting the boss. 1 person's going to be going backwards. Oh, no, he missed it. One person is going to go backwards, and 1 person is going to go forward. And essentially why they're doing this is to skip a large platforming section of the raid after this second boss. Because usually that part takes about, 2, 3, 4 minutes, maybe 5 if you're a little slow or not very adept at jumping.
It's a good soundtrack, though. It's a banger.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all of them are. So 1 person's going to be going backwards. 1 person's going to be going forwards by kind of clipping out of bounds. Everyone else is going to be doing the actual boss fight. The person who's going to be going backwards is Shockwve, and they're going to be doing some loading zone manipulations here. So normally the game wants you all to be together during a boss fight. And if it senses that you're out of bounds or you're not in the proper position or you're just not in the actual fight or you're too far away, the game's gonna be like, hey, what are you doing? Come back. Like you're fighting a boss right now. So the game's gonna try and pull them forward. And Shockwve is gonna be doing some sort of loading zone manipulations to get himself back before the first boss. There you go.
There he
Getting
goes.
out
He
of that
squeezed
doorway.
through the door this time.
Yeah, there's no reason to be back here. Like, there's nothing back here. But in order to skip a bunch of platforming, he needs to get himself back outside so that way he can go back inside on his Sparrow and clip through the wall and start skipping past a lot of this stuff to bring his team forward. So that's exactly what he's going to be doing. He's going to be kind of dashing up here with the sword and the Warlock. This is kind of really the only way to be able to get up here. Warlocks are very, very floaty. So he's going to come up to this restricted area, which was part of the boss number 1. Hits that loading zone. He's going to go backwards, come back into the second boss loading zone. He's going to wait until he gets a joining allies trigger right there. He's going to load another zone. Then he's going to escape the clutches of Bungie trying to drag him forward to his teammates. He's going to go back to that first loading zone and blow himself up. And that's going to spawn him outside before the first boss, so that way he can get on a Sparrow and he can clip through the wall and start making his way to the third encounter. Now, you gave a great analogy when we were doing some practice earlier about
Tony Hawk
how this
special
is
sound
like.
right there.
Yeah, that was a nice flip. You gave an analogy to like Mario Kart speedrunning.
Yeah, this is kind of a blessing in
translate.
disguise that we saw the backup here. So this is kind of like a Mario Kart Ultra shortcut, where they skip easily half the lap. But in order for that lap to count, they have to hit certain checkpoints. And that is what Shock is doing right now. He's trying to trigger certain checkpoints so that the game says you have been here and allows them to skip to the next encounter. Meanwhile, the 4 Titans are doing the boss fight by themselves. They have an exotic chess piece that turns their super into a bigger super that essentially melts the boss.
Yeah. And so what Kirk and Shockwve are currently doing is they're going to all those platforming checkpoints. Like the rest of the team's handling the boss checkpoint, but they are handling the platforming section checkpoint to make sure that the game is like, okay, you killed the boss and you've done the platforming section because you walked through all these parts of the area. So that means we're going to activate the third boss for you. And then as he gets close to the third boss, we're actually going to use that joining allies function to drag everyone forward. So that way, instead of doing the entire giant platforming section that takes a couple of minutes, the boss is just like, okay, well, we noticed that one person's here at the boss fight. The second boss just died, by the way, with that little key fragment pop up.
Yeah, so to catch them up to speed on what just happened, they're using that scanner augment to identify a false clone of a boss and then all damaging that clone.
Yeah.
And they did that in the blink of an eye. We're already to the next section.
It's a very fast boss fight. So now he's coming up on the third encounter. The third encounter is going to start, and it's going to sort of like recognize that like you're here, but like nobody else is. But you started the fight, so you need all of your teammates to be in here. So we're gonna pull you all forward. You duck down there to see the boss fight kind of spawn in and sort of like trigger the loading zone essentially. Now the game's like, all right, well, you're here, but you're like out in space and not actually fighting this guy, so come on back inside.
So now you're gonna see some loadout swaps. He switches from the Top Tree Dawnblade to the Voidwalker to get a short distance teleport. That will be a consistency strat for a future section. The loadouts that everyone's using is a grenade launcher that leaves this green pool on the floor. Think of it as spicy water. Enemies walk over that, they get damaged. The way this fight operates is that Shock is the suppressor. So by shooting the boss, which because of a bug, he's now a statue. By shooting the boss while standing under these beach balls, a nuke will drop onto the map, which they have to deposit into the center receptacles. The person with the scanner buff tells the team where to deposit those nukes. Then the fight progresses.
Yeah, so what's actually happening here is the AI of the space station is currently, thinks you're intruders and is hurtling the entire space station into the moon Europa right now. That's what's happening, and it's loaded with nukes. And so you need to make sure that you all don't nuke a planet by disabling all of the nukes. That's actually what's happening right now.
Yeah, crazy enough, Guardians have their own nukes. If you pay attention to the loadout, they have a submachine gun out called the Aikilo submachine gun. By getting a couple kills with it, it spawns, I don't know, an orb that you shoot. You shoot this orb, and it blows up the whole room, not exaggerating.
It does a lot of AoE damage.
But the craziest thing is the Wither Horde pool on the floor, that spicy water. If you have the SMG out while something else dies to that Wither Horde, it counts as an SMG kill.
Yeah, and you need a bunch of SMG kills or other Ikelos kills in order to spawn one of these cells. To actually say like what's going on with the fight right now in terms of any like tricks or strats, they're not like doing anything crazy here. There's no like way to skip past all of this. There's no way to, you know, just completely nuke a boss or something like that.
This is more or less a normal run done very fast. One speedrun trick they're doing is depositing the suppressor augment into the terminal every time a cycle completes, because after a cycle completes, it disables one of the augments. So if it's deposited, it cannot be disabled. And here you see the team entering the orbit of the Pacific Northwest, I presume.
It's not that hot anymore.
Oh, it's not that hot? Okay, maybe
no,
Florida.
It was only a couple of days. But yeah,
but
they're
it's really
essentially
Europa.
they're just doing the fight super, super fast, killing ads as they spawn in. The faster you kill ads, the faster you move to the next wave of ads, the faster you move to the next thing that happens. So that's why they're using this Wither Horde weapon, is to just literally spawn kill things as they come out of the door, so they don't even have a chance to spread out, which means you can move to the next thing a lot faster.
There are two main ways in Destiny to spawn kill. Wither Horde is the special weapon version, and Anarchy is the power weapon version. And we'll see Anarchy in the final boss fight. Anarchy essentially puts an electric fence post on the floor.
Yeah, and you can chain a bunch of them together to make like a big arc web on the ground, and it just destroys anything that walks into it. We do have one little trick coming up here towards the end. Everyone's gonna be doing like a bunch of loadout swaps and swap into a bunch of shotguns and Anarchy and stuff like that. But what's going to be happening here is when everybody crash lands, there's just some sort of raid flavor where everyone's disoriented and super slow and all that. Shockwve here is going to blow himself up and get rid of the debuff that actually slows you down in order to skip ahead and plant a rally flag. A rally flag gives everybody full ammo, full ability, energy, all that. And this is just kind of done for consistency's sake. It doesn't really save a whole lot of time, but it's more for organizational purposes. So, screen's coming white. Everyone's going to crash land pretty soon here. And wait for it. Wait for it. There he goes. A revive.
And
you can see
everyone's crawling.
Look, everyone's super slow. Oh, Scooby got way out in front there.
Yeah, they missiled. They just added that.
So he's just getting out in front. He's using Blink to kind of teleport faster, or right into a wall. And they're going to plant a rally flag and make sure their whole team gets a whole bunch of ammo and is good to go immediately. This is also another fight. It's going to be happening normally. They're just doing it fast. That's really about it. Spawn killing enemies right as they come out of the doors and just getting to the damage phase as fast as humanly possible. That's it. There's no crazy trick.
So rally flag goes down, refreshes their ammo, gives them a super, and now they're using Anarchy to put fence posts in front of doors, because if things die fast, they get to progress the fight.
Yeah, the same kind of concept as Wither Horde, except it's just like, it's a tiny one, but Anarchy is much better for boss damage. There was technically no boss to fight in the previous encounter. This time they are. So they're going to be using Anarchy, and they're going to be using 2 shotguns, swapping back and forth rapid fire, because some might call it, there's an issue in the game right now where if you're able to swap these shotguns back and forth rapidly, you're able to get insanely high rates of fire and insanely high damage as a result. So they're essentially doing like 2.5 times damage compared to like a normal heavier power weapon that someone might be using.
They're double pumping in Fortnite, essentially.
Yeah,
so now how the fight actually works is you shoot the boss's ship, he drops some nukes, and then Suppressor hits the boss while under the beach balls again. He goes down, nukes get deposited, then the final damage phase starts.
Yeah, he's going to teleport to the middle. He's already there. You got to watch out for some of that debris. If you get too close, he's going to zap you, so you got to stay a little far away. And you can see this super fast shotgun swapping. You're not supposed to be able to shoot these guns this fast, but
yeah, you might also notice a laser that's Divinity. 5 people have the same loadout, and then 1 person has the laser. Laser adds a blue ball to make it easier to hit criticals.
Yeah, it's just like a big old crit zone. If you're trying to crit Tannix in his head's really small. It's bobbing around a whole lot. It's tough to hit, but dropping a divinity bubble on there causes them to be able to crit much easier. And they just burned all of their supers right at the end there to just insta-give him for that final stand as he teleported away.
And that run concludes. That's Deep Stone Crypt right there.
Raid.
Let's pass the baton over to Shock again. Very good run, guys.
That's the whole run. GG's.
Thanks, Datto and Cam. Wow, the lighting really changed in the span of 15 minutes. Look at that. Thank you very much, Datto and Cammy, for commentating that. I'm sure your throats hurt. That is nonstop talking for like 15 minutes. So we'll make these shoutouts quick. I have a list of people I need to go through real quick. Obviously, thank the raid team and thank Datto and Cammy for coming and help with this. This is a lot of people to organize for something like this, let alone get people just to do this consistently week over week. This also is just one of the raids in Destiny. Like, there's tons of raids that we did. We did Last Wish about 1.5 years ago. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Cool run. I want to call a special shout out to the studio crew, Mikuyama, Angel, and Test Runner. Thank you all for dealing with us. This is a complicated run. Thank you very much for working through all of this stuff and helping us get on screen. Prolix, I know you said literally nothing during this run, but thank you for hosting anyway. Thank you for agreeing to host it. Thank you for agreeing to host it, even though you said literally nothing. I want to call one particular person out because this is really important and this is related to Destiny as a whole. I want to thank Eric at Bungie. I got in contact with him back at SGDQ Last Wish. He's someone who works there. He's been working there for a few years. And thanks to him, he helped me land a job with Bungie, and I start on Monday. So it's incredible to have something like speedrunning turn into a career for you. So I want to especially call out Eric. Thank you all. Thank you so much, man, for just staying with me through the past 1.5 years and getting all this stuff done. As well, Games Done Quick. Without Games Done Quick, I wouldn't have had this opportunity to really go work for Bungie. Speedrunning, working in the Destiny, all that stuff, getting like all of these pieces coming together. So Games Done Quick as an organization, and all my friends, I would call it Amerlin. He's in the room right over there, helping me produce the event on site. All these people I meet, like they helped me get to this stuff, and including the raid team. And obviously, last but not least, I need to thank my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, because the moment I told them I got this job, they were like, we love you. How do we make this happen? What do you need help from us? If there's something you need, let us know. And I love you. Thank you so much for helping me get that opportunity and, working with me through this, all that. But, all that aside, that's all I have for shoutouts. Thank you all again for watching Destiny 2. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. You've got some sick runs coming up. Enjoy. Have fun. We got 2 more days of this.
All right. Thank you so much for that outro, Shockwve. Wonderful to hear all those details. Wish you the best of luck and the most success. That is excellent. Before the run began, we heard from Bystandertim, one of our runners, with a $10 donation saying, "Eyes up, Guardian. Let's name that Lillipup in honor of the one Destiny boss that never seems to disappear, Tannix." So everyone, if you want to join, stand in solidarity with your fellow Guardians, get out there, and when you donate to Games Done Quick, to Doctors Without Borders, you'll see the Pokemon Black-White Bid War open right now to nickname Lillipup, and there is an entry there, Tannix. It's not quite in the lead yet, could use some help there. So if you want to show some support there to Bystandertim, check out that idea. Also, I just wanted to acknowledge again, following up on the interview we had before the run there with John Holland from MSF, Aksanyi donated $50. Hearing John Holland's account of the little girl with the bullet wound gave me the urge to donate again. MSF, you are literal heroes. And $100 from Pink Pocky. I hope this donation can go towards helping MSF do the wonderful work they continue to do. The interview with John Holland from MSF deeply impacted me, so I had to donate once more to contribute in some way. Thank you so much to MSF and SGDQ.